let's make lemonade. Okay. Let's go to work.
That's the signal. Go. 6. It's beautiful. Mother Nature just pissed her pants, dude!
Start your day with a jolt of energy and no-holds-barred opinions. This is The Rush, where Travis Justice and Ross Peterson bring you bold, unfiltered, and uncensored takes on sports, life, and everything in between. Buckle up and let's go.
To the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive. Good to have you along on a Tuesday. It's the 14th of October. If you're listening on the audio stream at therushradio.com and the Rush Radio Android app or the TuneIn app, thank you so much for bringing us into your car or wherever you're using the app on your phone. Make sure to hit that favorites button, and we'll be popping up each and every day for you. If you're watching on YouTube this morning, hit that subscribe button. Give this video a like. And also start leaving your comments in the comments section. And if you want to follow us on social media, you can follow us on X at Rush Mornings, Facebook, The Rush with Travis and Ross, and of course, The Rush Radio Show on Instagram. Ross Peterson is in the air, coming back from Ireland. So we go to the bullpen today, ladies and gentlemen. We go to the bullpen back for the first time in a long time. I think this is the first time Justin and I have been on a show together in almost a year. We're coming up on a year since Ross got fired. You were fired a couple weeks later after that. You and I have not broadcasted together, Justin Miller, since like November, right?
Well, I think we did one or two like call-in segments when I was in Arch Madness. So I think we've done one or two shows, but it's been a long time.
We haven't done a full show together like this. I know when I was in Italy last February, I think you were co-hosting with Ross, and I dialed in there as well. But what have you been up to, man? You've been like on a golf course all summer, right?
Yeah. So when I was like, oh, I'm going to have to get a part-time summer gig, what are some of the things I want to do? I want to be outside, and I want to be kind of away from people where I can just do my own thing. And that's perfect for golf course management. So I get on lawnmower at 5 a.m., have like a full rundown of podcasts I listen to, and then home by like 1 o'clock. It's perfect.
That is a perfect day. Of course, for those of you who've been wondering what Justin has been up to, you can see it on his mic flag right there. It's right there in your face. He's got a big budget because he's able to go and get himself a mic flag for his microphones. But it's the Media Row podcast with Justin Miller.
Well, so what's funny is got this plastic like mic flag. It's plain white. It was like $4, and then Megan has a cricket, so I had her cricket the logo. So we did it on budget.
Oh, so you didn't custom order that thing?
Nope. We made it. Same with this Drake helmet. I found like a plain white helmet for $80. Got it, and then Megan Cricket the Drake logo on it. So
look at you. What helmets do you have? I see Ohio State. I see Seattle. I see Drake. Oh, it's 2 Seattle helmets. Okay, yeah, I see that.
The retro one was my dad's.
Okay. I get that.
Yep.
You know, I my studio is partially done. Owen's still going. We just got the mantle built for the fireplace. Yes, my studio has a fireplace in it. But I've got a separate podcast studio that is over there to my right. Behind me is just I just need some stuff on the walls. The decorating part is always the hardest part of a studio. You're like, okay, how much junk do I want on the walls? Do I want it to look gaudy? Do I want it to look very simple? So I'm still trying to be very strategic, and because I do so much other stuff in here besides the Rush, I don't want it just to be all Rush stuff or all Iowa State, all Iowa stuff. I want it to be kind of neutral, almost neutral, right? So that's what I'm going to. I find it interesting, and I'm going to bring this up. You're going to be so pissed at me for this. Justin was fired by KXNO was it November or December when you were fired? It
was November. So Ross got fired November 3rd, and then I got fired November 5th or 6th. It was like 2 or 3 days later.
Yeah, because I was in Savannah, Georgia when Ross got fired. Believe it or not, folks, KXNO has called Justin several times to come back. So they fire him, and he's a man of principle and says, nah, I don't think I want to come back. I don't want to. I'm sure that's hard because I want everybody to get up to date on what you've been up to. How many jobs have you applied for? Just to show you how competitive the broadcast world is. This is why you're better off doing your own thing.
Man.
It's hard to do your own thing. It takes a while to build it up. But how many jobs have you applied for?
Man, easily over 200.
Over 200 jobs.
I mean, I was applying for like 10 jobs a day at one point. Now that has kind of slowed down just because it's like, oh, okay, I've been able to slowly build up my own thing. I'm doing some freelance work with other conferences, and that's been awesome. And it's just, yeah, it's very competitive. But I've had a great group of people around me. You and Ross have been great. But then like Larry Morgan, who I got to know through Drake, he called me, man, the day of, if not maybe the day after I got fired, and was like, all right, this sucks, but we've all been there. Go to this website. It was like STAA, and it just lists out a bunch of like sports broadcasting writing opportunities. So it was a lot easier going through that struggle with a good group of people.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that I've been the best friend of you, and I haven't talked a lot during the break. I mean, you're busy, I'm busy, and just being where I'm located, we're probably not as close as we were when you were producing the show, but over 200 jobs. It just shows you how competitive it is, and you're still holding on. I texted you yesterday, hey, so you want to come out of the bullpen? You're like, yeah, I'll come out of the bullpen.
Let me check my calendar. Yep, I'm wide open, Trav.
So you were mowing at Grandview? Is that where you were mowing?
Yep, Grandview Golf Course. Get up at like 5 a.m., get home by 1 o'clock, just mowing, listening to music, podcasts. It was great. And like still working there, but now it's starting to get to that point of the season where we don't go in until 7 o'clock, home by like noon.
So did you have to call and ask for permission, say, hey, I'm co-hosting the show, I'm not going to come in at 7 today?
No, so actually, my schedule now, it's just Monday, Wednesday, Fridays. Like, it's just slowed down.
Because the grass isn't growing. The grass is like, oh, you only have to mow me like once every 2 days.
Yeah.
What did you build up the resume enough on the lawnmower to be able to mow the greens? I mean, were you ever a green mower?
I mowed greens like my second month. John Walling, who listens to your guys' show and is a good buddy of mine, got me the gig, and he was my trainer. So he was helping me learn everything about the golf course. Now, I did greens for a couple of weeks. Now, I haven't done it since, so I don't know. Maybe I was bad at it. I don't know, though.
See, to me, the fairway would be the absolute best because those are the long runs. You either go at a 90-degree angle or you go all the way down. But to me, that's nothingness, but that's nothingness at its best. What's the hardest part of mowing a golf course? Is it the rough? Do they say, hey, we need this at 3 inches? I mean, what do they tell you before? What I imagine is, you guys coming out of the barracks, you're like a military platoon, and you're like, Miller, you've got the rough today. Walling, you've got the fairways today. Jensen, you've got the greens today. How does that all go down? You
would think it would be that operated. It's seriously, I walk in, there's a piece of like notebook paper, and it just says Justin Miller. So I cut like the tees, and then I cut around the greens and the approach, so like about 20 feet off the green, and I do those like the arching lines that you see, try and make them look pretty. But it seriously says Justin, tees and greens, and then an arrow which way I'm supposed to mow the tees. That's all it says, and then I hop on my mower and I just get going. Like, so
do any of the mowers get to go in and put the pin placement on the greens? Did you ever get to go in and put the hole in the ground and put a new cup?
Yeah, and that is I struggled with that the most, actually, because I would lean to one side or the other because you're trying to push hard to get it into the green, and I would realize that I was pushing on one side or the other, so the hole would be kind of angled. So if you guys missed any putts at Grandview, you can blame me, but also...
Coach Hersom says, I never got the fairways, bigger mowers, greens from day one. So are greens the easy part, or what's the easy part?
Greens are easier. Fairways, yeah, I've never touched a fairway mower. Those things are basically a tractor, and they kind of have their own platoon of guys that come in and they do that for 3 hours and then they're gone for the day.
What's the craziest thing you found on a golf course? Have you found some clubs? Have you found people having sex in the woods? Anything crazy like that?
So 2 things come to mind. One was one morning I'm mowing around like the first hole, and I see this like figure in the background. I'm like, what was that? So I kind of take my mower up the hill, and there's this huge coyote. And I'm like, oh, that's crazy. It's like 8 a.m. You usually don't see them out at 8 a.m. Well, it had taken down a goose, and that thing, Ooh. There was feathers all over the fairway. We had to get out there with like our leaf blowers and try to blow the feathers so it didn't look like a bloodbath. It was pretty crazy. That was crazy. And then actually last week helped an old man find his dog on the golf course. Lost his dog for like 5 days. He thought like the worst has happened, and we found his dog. And that was
found the dog? Cool. What was the dog? Tell me it wasn't a pit bull. Tell me it was not a pit bull.
No, it was this like poor little puppy. It was very young. It just had gotten out, and it was one of the coolest things because you could just see this old man was so happy, like started crying, and it was like a top 5 human moment in my life. It was just so cool to see a connection like that. And I was like, week's made. Best week ever.
Now, are you a much better golfer? Because what I assume is you get off the mowers and you go play a round of golf, right? I mean, you get free golf at Grandview. I'd hope you get free golf, even though it's a city-owned municipal course. Did you get done and just go play 9 or 18 every day?
Man, you would think. I played the least amount of golf this year.
Really?
And I had free golf. I'm ashamed of myself for not going more often, but it just like we were going pretty frequently in May and June. And then July hit, and Megan and I were gone like every other week. And it just got to the point where it became an afterthought, and I'd get home and just not even think about it. I'm ashamed of myself. I should have been using it more.
Well, I think we're all guilty of that. I have a membership at a country club, and I have not golfed the country club once this year. I mean, it's like, okay, you're paying this money, and you're not golfing it. Why are you doing that? Well, because I can go golf it. Just I get done with work. I'm like, do I want to go play 9? No, not really. So I'm just going to go home. Before we dive in, Justin said one more thing to me before we got started today, and I'm trying to figure this out. You know, when my wife and I watch movies together, when it comes to date movies, we like the rom-coms, right? When Harry Met Sally,
great movie, love that movie.
Great movie. Justin gets on with this morning. He goes, Trav, I was going to ask you this on the air, but he goes, I don't know if that would be appropriate to derail the show right off the bat. I'm like, well, you haven't watched this or listened to the show in a while then, because we get derailed all the time. This is straight out of Justin's mouth, and it's probably where I had a really bad influence on Justin going back when he first started with us. Justin goes, the best date movie ever is Boogie Nights. I never once thought of Boogie Nights as being a date movie. Now, hopefully you watched Boogie Nights and you got laid after it, because if you didn't, there's something seriously wrong, because that's borderline porn. I mean, it's not borderline, it is porn. Yeah, it's
why do you think I'm saying it's the best date night movie?
Because you got laid afterwards.
It has everything everyone would want.
I would bet you got laid in the middle of the movie. That's what I'm thinking.
No, the movie's too good. You gotta finish the movie. The movie's too good. You gotta finish the movie.
Come on, when Roller Girl comes out,
that's just the start too.
Yeah, I know.
Come on. No, Boogie Nights, and I see people. It's not a date movie. Come on, how is it not a date movie? It's everything you would want.
Everybody's beating you up for this, man. I mean, they're like, you know, it's not a date movie. And I'm in line with Patrick. I'm in line with Sean. I would never say to my wife, hey, do you want to watch Boogie Nights tonight? I mean, that'd be like me going, you want to watch MILFs 3? I mean, that's on, you know, a different channel that you have to pay monthly for.
I've only seen 1 and 2. One and two, so I haven't seen MILFs 3. Maybe it's better.
Reagan Fox is the star of the MILF shows. Not that, you know.
But, no, it has everything you'd want. It has action. It has sex. It has nudity. It has a love story. It's funny. It's serious. Everything you'd want. Good music. Great soundtrack.
It does have a good soundtrack. But I don't know if I took away, two things I took away from Boogie Nights. All the nudity. And then Burt Reynolds was fabulous in there.
Burt Reynolds is so good. So good. And
William Seymour Hoffman was just messed up. Just a messed up character.
And then William H. Macy, he's great in it. No,
yeah.
I love that movie. And it was so funny because Megan and I were surfing through like all the different streaming services, trying to find something to watch. It pops up and I was like, all right, this is what we're watching. I love this movie. And you know what? This is how I sell you. Mark Wahlberg's a porn star. She's like, all right, I'm down.
See, girls are no different than guys. We watch for Roller Girl and Heather Graham. She watches for the prosthetic penis in Mark Wahlberg at the end of the movie where he's a superstar. I'm a superstar.
Dirk Diggler.
Yeah. You know that's based off. It's based off a true story. Did you know that? It's based off of John Holmes, who was a mega superstar, well-hung mega superstar in the porn world way back in the 70s. So that was kind of the character of Dirk Diggler was John Holmes.
Well, there's some sort of porn documentary about him, and that's what Paul Thomas Anderson based Boogie Nights off of. In the scene where Dirk starts making his own documentary about himself, and he's like, yeah, Jack's great. He lets me cut my own scenes. And Burt Reynolds I do not let him edit his own scenes. I guess that's a clip from the real documentary where there's this porn star and he's talking up about how he gets to write his own stuff and be creative. And the director right away is like, we don't let him do any of that.
Well, it's good to have you here, my friend. We're here till 8 o'clock today. Again, Ross Peterson in the air on his way back from Ireland. Ross is going to be getting back going. I need more than 5 days in Ireland because 2 of them were spent in the air. But Ross will be back with us tomorrow. If you got questions, 515-517-2303 is the number to call. At 7:30 today, Joe Woodley, head coach of the Drake Bulldogs, will be joining us. Drake got a dramatic win, should we say, a 55-yard field goal last Saturday against San Diego to beat the Toreros. 1916, I believe, was the final. Good win for the Bulldogs as they are still unbeaten in the Pioneer League. So again, Joe Woodley going to join us at 7:30. Let's just dive right into college basketball because you were intimate with this yesterday, and that is the Drake Media Days. Again, there's been a lot of turnover with Drake the last couple of years. You go from Darren DeVries to Ben McCollum, now Eric Henderson. The bar is set for Drake basketball. And that bar, you could almost say the bar was set by Nico Medved. And then Darren DeVries did the longest tenure there and built it into a consistent 20-game winner. Ben McCollum comes in and did what he did last year, gets the Iowa job, who's now a kid in the candy store at Iowa. I mean, that guy is happier than we've ever seen him. He's like 2 different personalities. And now Eric Henderson, who, when he got the job, came on the show. I'm sure we'll have him on again during the season. But and I know your passion for Drake. What were your takeaways yesterday from Drake? What's his roster look like? Is it a total rebuild again? And, it's like if he doesn't win 20 games, man, people are going to be pissed off. It's like, what's going on?
Isn't that crazy to think about? Because last year, complete turnover, brand new staff, brand new roster, and fans kind of had this idea of okay, going to take a step down from DeVries. We'll still be good, but just won't be the same level. Well, then he goes out there and wins the most games any Drake team has ever won, wins a first-round game in the NCAA tournament for the first time since 1971 for Drake. And so now it's okay, we've seen this happen before. Why can't Henderson win the Missouri Valley? Why can't they win 20-plus games again? So there is a lot of pressure. But the first thing you take away from Media Day is just, I loved Darren. He was great to me. I mean, I pissed Darren off and he was still great to me. And then
how did you piss Darren off?
So when I was
by the way, you don't piss anybody. I piss people off. Ross pisses the people of Des Moines off by going off on school board issues. How does Justin Miller piss somebody off?
So Drake, my senior year, when they were going on their run with DeVries, they lost 2 straight games and they only put up 40 points. So you go into that building and practices were intense. and I was doing a project for a class of filming DeVries and doing an interview with him. Well, he's already upset, and he's like, you can tell he does not want to talk to this kid right now during practice. Well, we'd film it, and I forget to turn on the camera. So I had to ask him again, like, hey, coach, I'm so sorry. Can I ask you like 2 questions? And he did it, but I could tell by his face. And we had him on the Morning Rush like a few weeks later, and I asked him on air, like, did I piss you off? And he was like, a little.
Yeah, but that happens. I mean,
yeah.
I mean, it does happen, but you don't want it to happen to you, right? It's like, I can't believe this just happened to me. Well, it's because that kind of happened to me the other day. Dr. Rob and I recorded our podcast, the Doc Talk podcast, and I forgot to hit stop, and I unplugged and shut the machine off. So I went to move the file over, and it wasn't there. And I'm like, oh my God, we just did an hour and 15 minutes. Do we have to do this whole thing over again? So for some reason, I shut everything down to come back up, put the card back in the mixer, and it happened to be there. So I got really, really lucky, but it was one of those learning moments. And I've been doing this a long time. I've been doing it, well over 40 years. It still happens to you, man.
Oh, your stomach drops too in those moments.
Yeah.
I hate that feeling. But DeVries was great to me. McCollum, of course, didn't get to build as long of a relationship as I did with DeVries, but he was great to me. Love those guys, but they were very Bill Belichick in that we're on to the next team. We're on to Valpo, if you will.
I would say McCollum was more Bill Belichick than DeVries.
I would agree with that. But they had that same, like, they weren't. You talk to Eric Henderson, and that dude, it's a breath of fresh air in what we do with talking to coaches, in that sense of like, oh my God, you feel like you're buddies with this guy already. He's only been in Des Moines for a couple of months. So that's what you get right away. But then if you talk about the roster with Drake, size, number one. You walk in, and these players are so big, and that's been an issue with Drake since I was a kid. I've never seen a team this big for Drake. I know DeVries had Darnell Brody. Also, Liam Robbins was big. But other than that, this team always was small. Last year, the biggest player was Cam Manio at like 6'8" on a good day.
I'm going to push back. It's not push back. I just want to bring up the Valley. How do you win in the Valley, though? You win with guard. Guard play always wins the Valley. Big guys don't win the Valley. Guard play wins the Valley.
That's why Drake's been able to win. I mean,
yes.
Bradley towered over Drake, and Drake has won 3 straight Missouri Valley Conference championships. But as we saw last year in the NCAA tournament, they beat Missouri, but then you go up against a big team like Texas Tech and just get run off the court in the paint. I mean, that game was close, but in the paint, I think it was like 30-10 in points in the paint. Just got absolutely bullied in there. And that's, if you want to take the next step as a program, that's where it starts. And they have 3 guys, 6'10" or bigger. But it's a young team. Only 3 seniors on the team. Everyone else, sophomores and juniors. So it'll be interesting how this team gels together. Good guards, though. Like you brought up, he brought in a couple of really good guards. Owen Larson, of course, is the big name a lot of people think of because he came from South Dakota State along with Henderson, is battling an ACL injury, but should be healthy for the start of the season. So I'm really excited to cover this team if it doesn't show.
The thing is, we just don't know, right? It kind of like with Ben McCollum. We didn't know they were, after Darren DeVries you left and a lot of that roster left, we didn't know what Ben McCollum was going to put on the floor. Obviously, it was good. With Hendo here, you don't know, right? It's going to be like the wait and see. You can look at the size, but there's still a lot of names that we don't know that we're going to have to get to understand and kind of wait and see. Like the Valley poll came out, right? And UNI is number 2 preseason pick. Drake 5th. Did I see that?
Drake was 5th. And then you have Illinois State, who is number 1, because Illinois State's going to be really good. They returned so many good players, including a player that could have easily played anywhere in the country. And a lot of people thought leaving St. Louis, Chase Walker, who's their big man, was actually going to leave to go play for Ohio State. He's that kind of level of talent, but decides to stay with Illinois State. And so they bring back so many star players. They bring back one of the best guards in the league in Keisinger. Illinois State will be a really good team, and I like their coach as well. Bradley, I mean, you always expect them to play well with Wardle as a head coach, but they lost 76% of their scoring. And then poor Valpo, they go on this run last year, make the semifinals, and you have all these players, and you're like, man, maybe Valpo's starting to build something. Well, they legit lost every single player on their team. They're a full rebuild. 100% of their playing minutes are gone.
The first Associated Press college basketball poll came out. We will talk about that when we come back. And because I aim to please everybody out there, and everybody's making fun of me because of my name drops. Justin, a couple weeks ago, I was in Phoenix at the John Higgins Basketball Association camp, and I got to talk to a lot of referees. You would have liked that. It was some good stuff.
Invite me next time. My schedule's open, Trav.
I had Terry Oglesby. I had Randy McCall. All the big names. Randy Ayers. I'm up close in person with them. Everybody's drinking now.
The trifecta.
I've hit the tri. It was Dr. Rob. It was John Higgins. Who was the other one that I hit the trifecta on?
Oh, no, I feel like even just having a fireplace in your studio counts as just a name drop. It feels like a name drop in a way.
Hey, if you want to go see a Cyclone football game, you have until October 20th at 9:59 a.m. precisely. But you have to play along with the Iowa Lottery. It's your last chance to win sweet tickets to an Iowa State Cyclone football game from the Iowa Lottery. Enter the winning or non-winning Mega Millions tickets into your Iowa Lottery VIP club account for your chance to win a VIP suite experience at Jack Trice Stadium for the game against Arizona State on November 1st. Package includes 2 tickets, food, water, soda in the suite, a parking pass, meet and greet with Cyclone athlete, and $150 worth of merchandise and $250 in spending money. Enter before 10 a.m. October 20th. Visit iowalottery.com for details. And if you're not a VIP club member, you can always become one for absolutely free by going to iowalottery.com/VIP. It is the Rush Radio Show powered by Willis Automotive.
The Rush Radio is now on the free TuneIn app, allowing you to enjoy the show on Apple products and Android Auto. Download the free TuneIn app and search The Rush Radio to take Travis and Ross wherever you go.
Your house wasn't built for bats, birds, or raccoons, but try telling them that. At Bats and Bugs Pest Solutions, we've been helping Iowans take back their homes for over 20 years. We use cost-effective, eco-friendly methods to solve wildlife and pest problems the right way. Whether it's bats in your attic, birds in the vent, raccoons in your chimney, or moles in your yard, we have long-term solutions. Call Bats and Bugs Pest Solutions today at 515-218-3400, and let's make sure your home doesn't become their home.
There's more Iowa in the Iowa Tap Room than you may realize. Housed in a building nearly as old as Iowa itself, the Iowa Tap Room greets you with a harvest of 120 Iowa craft beers on tap from all corners of the state. And the food doesn't get much more Iowa than this. The Iowa Tap Room, all Iowa beer, one amazing place.
There's always something new at Fong's Pizza. The patio is open and ready for you, your friends, and an ever-changing menu of tiki drinks. Or try our new noodle dishes alongside your favorite slice. It's all happening this summer at the new Fong's in the East Village.
Thinking about buying a home? Get pre-approved in 30 minutes with Gary Presnell at Northwest Bank in Des Moines. Gary offers first-time home buyers programs, VA, FHA, IFA, and conventional loans. Call Gary at 515-975-6767 or find his profile at nw.bank. Member FDIC Equal Housing Lender.
You know, Brian, at Central City, we really do have the best selection around.
I know. High-quality stuff you can't find anywhere else.
Whistle Pig Plantation Rum.
Yeah, and over 150 of the best scotches on earth.
And a ton of bitters, mixers, and more.
You know what we are? High class.
Definitely high class, yeah.
Make way for the natty.
Okay, maybe medium class.
Central City Liquor is home of the 10% cash coupon.
And the Wooden Nickel program.
A fuel choice that even rivals can agree on? Now that's worth the hype. Cheaper, cleaner, and homegrown. Pump it up with unleaded 88.
After Hawkeye football games this fall, Travis and Ross are right where they belong, with you taking your calls and giving unfiltered feedback. Right after Hawkeye football games, it's the Black and Gold Rush on the rushradio.com, the TuneIn app, and on YouTube.
This is Darcy at Willis Chevrolet. When's the last time that you got new tires? From now till the end of November, we are offering buy 3 tires, get 1 for $1. Our extreme savings. Also, if you sign up for a GM credit card, you can get another $250 off the price of the 4 tires. So it's a win-win. Give us a call today, and we can price you a set of 4, or visit us online to set up an appointment at willischevy.com.
Back like a rash you thought was gone. Travis and Ross aren't contagious, but they are addictive. It's the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive.
Welcome back to the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive. Make sure you become a Willis buyer today. When you're looking for a new automobile, a used automobile, Willis is the place to go. Friendly staff, wide selection. Whether you're looking for a luxury car, a regular car, well, every car is luxury. It's all a state of mind, right? Willis Automotive is the place to go. Go check out the selection at willisauto.com. Then go down to the Willis Auto campus, and you will not be disappointed. I wasn't, and I am now an official Willis buyer. Willis buyer. You need to trade in that Mercedes of yours and go get yourself a new car, Justin. Because you have the financial stability to do that.
I was just about to say, I was like, with what money? But, I mean, honestly, that car is starting to pack up some miles, so may have to be thinking about that here soon.
We were talking about the Drake basketball team and where they're picked to finish in the Missouri Valley Conference, kind of a new look for Eric Henderson and Hendo. We make fun of polls a lot on this show. Just because it's a barometer. I think Ross said it best. The two most important polls in college football are the preseason poll and that last college football playoff poll. But nobody's ever right when it comes to this stuff. I mean, you look at Texas, which was the preseason number 1 team in college football. Penn State was up there, and we all know where Penn State is right now. But now it's basketball's turn to run through this cycle, and the preseason AP poll came out yesterday. Let's just start with Iowa State. Iowa State's going to start 16th. Was that higher or lower than you thought they were going to be? I thought they were going to be a little bit higher, but I think with Lipsey's injury and knowing that starting the season, I thought they would be a little higher in 16th, but I'm fine with that. It's almost like, okay, that's a good place to start.
Yeah, that seems like the right spot for Iowa State. I was thinking they were going to be around that 14th to 17th kind of area because, yeah, that starting lineup, if Lipsey's healthy, that starting lineup is really talented. Jefferson's really good. Momcilovic, if he can stay on that consistent path, last year was a little inconsistent. If he can get more consistent offensively, that'd be huge. But then my issue is just the depth. I mean, Nate Heisey, and that's just about it of people we know that we saw from last year. So going into the season, that's the biggest question mark for Iowa State.
The preseason number 1 team in the country, and I get it. I'm a huge Matt Painter fan, have been since he was at Southern Illinois, and then he went to Purdue after that. I love Matt Painter. Think he's a great coach. But he's kind of like the James Franklin of college basketball, meaning the dude can't win the big one. And he may be able to win the big one during the regular season. He may be able to win it during the Big Ten Conference. He gets to the NCAA tournament, and he cannot win the big one. I get the hype for Purdue, but I don't get and they may have the best team in the country, but just because you have the talent doesn't mean you're the best number one team in the country. You've got to deliver. What has Purdue done to deserve to be the number one team in the country?
Man, I had that same thought, Trav, but isn't it weird? Why is it, at least for me, I look at Purdue at number one, I'm like, oh man, they got to prove me more. I know they were in the national title game, what was it, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, when they lost to that really great
You're one of the
UConn
few people
team.
who remember who was in the national title game and lost, right? I mean, usually you just forget. You remember who the national title winner is. You forget who they played. You're one of the few who go, oh yeah, Purdue played for the national title.
Oh, I love college basketball. This is my favorite thing. But I see Purdue. I love Matt Painter as well. I think he's a great coach. This is going to be a really good team. At least on paper, it should be. But why is it for me, I get this gut reaction of, I don't know if they're number one. But
because they let you down all the time. When somebody lets you down, and I secretly root for Purdue, and I don't know why, and I think I root for Matt Painter because I've seen, here's a guy, literally, I mean, he was in the Valley. He had good teams at Southern Illinois. He had one good team, I believe it was at Southern Illinois, because then he went back to Purdue. But it's just like I look at him and I go, God, you've stuck it out at Purdue. That's your career job. You could have taken the Missouri job a couple years ago. You decided to stay at Purdue. And it's one of these guys who you get so close to the mountaintop, but not to the top of the mountain. And I want to see that guy win a national title. But it's just like, it's hard to emotionally invest into Purdue. They're going to tank when it matters most.
But I don't know why. I saw that preseason poll, and I see Purdue at number one, and I sit there and I'm like, they got to prove to me more. But sitting there at number two is Houston, who's done basically the same exact thing of they just can't get into that national championship conversation, can't win the big one when it matters. But yet I have more confidence in seeing them as the number one team than I do at Purdue. And I don't really know why, because I like both coaches. Both coaches are veteran coaches who have proven time and time again why they're one of the best. But I don't know why I see Purdue at number one, and I feel weird about it. But yet Houston at number two, I would be totally okay with them being the number one team.
You know, Houston is – I still have to remember Houston is a Big 12 school, right? That still takes getting used to say, oh, yeah, they're in the Big 12. It takes a while. It just shows you what a great coach Kelvin Sampson is. And, you know, what he got a show cause years ago at Indiana for is perfectly legal today. And the guy can flat out coach. He's another guy I'd like to see to get a national title. But Sampson and Painter are two completely different individuals. But yeah, Houston number two, Florida number three, UConn number four, and watch out for number five, folks. Watch out for number five. Rick Pitino may get another national title. I'm serious. St. John's is loaded, and that dude, these Big East schools, people have to remember about the Big East because you've got UConn in there, you've got St. John's in there, Creighton comes in at number 23. You got to remember about these Big East schools where they're going to be a lot more competitive in basketball. Not saying the Big Ten is going to take a drop off, not saying the Big 12 is going to take a drop off, but look at that $20.5 million payroll that you get. Okay, for the Big Ten, the SEC, the Big 12, the majority of that $20.5 million is going to go to football, right? I mean, that's where the majority of that money is going to go. In the Big East, the majority of that money is going to go to men's basketball. Essentially, they don't have a salary cap. I mean, if you have 12, 13 players and you have $20.5 million to work with, you are going to be able to flood as much money as you want into players. And it's not like going to St. John's is a bad place to go play basketball. Going to UConn, you have national championships. Go to Creighton, you're going to have 17,500. Mac has gone to an Elite Eight, should have got to the Final Four. I think this salary cap makes the Big East or the 20.5 makes the Big East more dangerous in basketball than these other leagues.
I completely agree. St. John's is going to be legit. UConn is right there behind them in the top 10. Creighton's in the top 25, and I love McDermott and what he's been able to do, which I need you to use your country club, your whatever you need to do to get me into that Creighton St. John's game whenever it happens in Omaha. So
I might be able to do that. I actually might be able to do that.
I love that.
We're not sitting in the seats. We're going to sit in a suite if that's the case.
I mean, I want the full Travis Justice experience. We're not sitting with those low-lifers down there.
No. God, I haven't been to a Creighton game in a long time. I think the last Creighton game I went to was when they played Iowa over in Omaha. That was a couple of years ago. But yeah, so
I've always wanted to see a game there. What was funny, Trav? So I've been starting to get in a real basketball kick because in the afternoons, me and a few buddies will go to the gym, go shoot some hoops. And I've been watching old highlights just to get me excited for the season. And my favorite player growing up was Doug McDermott. And I found this YouTube video, and it's just a career jumble of his highlights. Your voice was on multiple highlights. It was weird. Yeah,
it's probably because I was doing play-by-play. This is before
I forgot about it though.
Yeah, so I did play-by-play for Creighton from 2001 to 2011 or 2012. I forget what the final year was, because that was before the big television contracts, right? You didn't have Fox come in, you didn't have CBS say, "Hey, we're gonna," and it was when Creighton was still in the Valley, then transition. I never did Creighton in the Big East, so I only did Creighton in the Valley. And people may or may not remember that Doug McDermott, I think, only played 1 year in the Big East. Might have been two. Might have been two.
I believe.
But see, the Valley didn't have that TV deal, so they had local television. And I worked for the CBS affiliate, and we did 10, 15 games a year, which was fun. But I got to see, I did Kyle Korver, I did Doug McDermott, I did some really good teams during that time. But yeah, I keep forgetting that you might hear my voice, and then you go, God, he wasn't a very good play-by-play guy.
Oh no, I thought it was great. It was just funny. I'm sitting there, just watching highlights of Doug McDermott, and then all of a sudden I hear your voice, and I completely forgot that you did play-by-play for Creighton.
Yeah. People always ask me, did you ever want to do that? I said, I wasn't very good at it. I like doing play-by-play, but to become great at it, you literally have to do it like every single night. I mean, you can't do 15 games a year, take a season off, doing it. I mean, you have to be doing it every single night. The good thing is, television play-by-play is a lot different than radio play-by-play. I mean, radio play-by-play, a lot more descriptive. It moves a lot faster, though I think it makes you a much better play-by-play guy. You can hide a little bit in your deficiencies on television because the picture literally tells the story. It's not like you have to be uber descriptive. But I get ready for some more name drops, folks, because you know how much I love. I like to say that I helped launch 2 broadcasting careers. One was Kyle Peterson at ESPN, who's been on the show. He was my intern back in 1994 when he first wanted to get into television. And then Nick Baugh, who's now with Fox and I believe maybe NBC, he was my color guy. He played for Creighton, wanted to get into television, radio. So we hired him at KMTV to be that's my claim to fame. Is I've launched a lot of careers. So you just hanging out with me, Justin, is a good omen. Your career at some point is going to take off just because you're hanging out with me.
Yeah, I mean, so far, all it's gotten me is getting fired. So let's see what happens here.
Hey, the truth is, I would have been fired not long after all. I mean, people still are mad at me at the way I left, and that's understandable. I totally get it. But the truth is, I would have been on the chopping block. And it was just a matter of time before they did the exact same thing to me, which they did to Ross, which they did to you. And it would have happened. I just find it interesting that they've gone back to you and said, Justin, would you like to be the producer? No, you wouldn't. No, I will say I commend you for that, just because I understand the financial situation you're in, and looking and working part-time all the time is not easy. But you fired me and now you want me back. I don't think that's going to happen.
Well, I mean, and I called a bunch of people. I thought about it. It wasn't just a gut reaction of no, hell no. It was I appreciate it. Let me think about it. And it just wasn't going to be a good fit moving forward. But
it is what it is, as
it
they
is what
say.
it is.
Transitioning into college football, of course, on Sunday, James Franklin was fired at Penn State. Shock, but not shock. He's going to get another job. That dude will coach again. He's a good coach. Won at Vanderbilt. He won at Penn State. Just couldn't win the big game. The big name that's being you got 2 names that are being tossed around. I think you have to pump your brakes on the coaching search right now, just because you're in the middle of the season. You got two coaches who are being talked about that still have college football playoff aspirations. That's Curt Cignetti at Indiana, and you have Matt Rhule at Nebraska. Matt Rhule is one of those, on paper, the perfect, well, I shouldn't say the perfect, but makes the most sense because he is a Penn State alum and everything that goes along with that, and walked on, was on the coaching staff. Yesterday, Nebraska plays Friday night against Minnesota, and Matt Rhule had to know that he was going to be asked about the Penn State job, had to know going into the news conference yesterday. You're going to hear from Matt Rhule right now. And this was the question, I think it was asked by Steve Sipple from On3. And you tell me if he fans the flames or squashes the rumors in this answer. It's about 2 minutes and 10 seconds long, but I thought I would play the whole thing to put it in context. And I want your reaction of what Matt Rhule had to say about the Penn State job, because it's not normal for, usually the standard answer is, I'm not going to answer that question. I'm more, and it is like a 10-second answer. Matt Rhule gave a 2 minute and 10-second answer. Here it is.
I love Penn State. Met my wife there. It's my alma mater. Fan since I was born. I think probably had a Penn State shirt when I was born. I love Pat Kraft. And really sad to see Coach Franklin go. You know, when you think about what he did for my alma mater, you know the program was in peril, right? I mean, the players, if people remember, like the historic sanctions, you could transfer out, you could do whatever you want. Bill O'Brien comes in, stabilizes it for 2 years. James takes over a program in disarray and gives stability, excellence, and to see videos of people like yelling at his kids, and like I just don't understand why in our country, like, well, now, like, coaches are villains. Like, do you know how hard I worked in Carolina and the things that were said to me, or you know how hard I work here and some of the things that are said, our coaches work here, how hard Sat worked last year. So I'm just really sad about that part of it. And people say, well, you make a lot of money. Making a lot of money doesn't make your kids feel good when they're hearing that. Make a lot of money. It's nice to make a lot of money, don't get me wrong, but still people. So I really respect James Franklin. Troy and I are in unbelievable relationship too. And Troy and I are in constant communication about this program and where we're headed. I came here for two reasons. I love the community here and wanted to live here, and I love it here. And I wanted to rebuild Nebraska football. And, Troy and I understand the steps that you need to take to make us Big Ten champions and national champions. This place is elite. And I want to be a great father, and I want to be a great college football coach. And so, I'm not going to talk a lot about job openings when they come. Maybe it's been a while here, but this is what happens when you win. I've dealt with it. We've won at Temple, and I dealt with it all the time. I've dealt with Baylor. I'm not going to talk about those things ever. I'm not going to talk about my contract here. I'm going to talk about the team. But I absolutely love it here, and I want us to continue to take the steps needed for us to turn this thing into a beast.
Okay, he says he's not going to talk about the job, and he didn't. But man, Nebraska fans were in panic mode yesterday, Justin. They were in panic mode because when you start off by saying, I love Penn State, and how passionately he says, my alma mater. I met my wife there. We're talking about my alma mater. I was born with a Penn State shirt on. That fanned the flames with Husker fans more than it did to put them out.
Well, I see it all over the comment section here. I saw it all over Twitter. Everyone saying that's not a no, which I get why Nebraska fans would be upset, because you do want to hear them say, no, I'm here with Nebraska. We're focused on this season. I think, though, it's a fine answer for him personally, because I think if he goes out there and says, no, I'm not taking the job, is anyone going to be shocked in April or whatever, February, if he takes the job? No. And then he just looks like a villain. I think this leaves the door open for him where he can really think about this. And yeah, that's not at all what Nebraska fans want. So there's a reason why the flames are getting bigger right now and why fans are freaking out.
Well, I mean, he has there's a bigger picture here than just the Penn State job. That right there was negotiation, meaning Troy Dan is not an idiot. right? Troy Dannon is a smart guy, former head of the girls' union here in Iowa, former Northern Iowa athletic director, went to Tulane, went to Washington, down at Nebraska. He's not dumb. He's been around this a long time, knowing that he has to get Matt Rhule solidified. And here's the thing. Matt Rhule may not even be up for the Penn State job. They may not want him. But Troy Dannon has to think they do. So what do? You start going, okay, we have to look at the contract. We have to look at what he's getting paid, right around $8 million a year. And what do you have to do to make sure he stays there? Matt Rhule is in negotiating terms, has all the leverage in negotiation, every little bit of it. And, if you're a Penn State fan, do you really want Matt Rhule? Sure, he played at Penn State. Sure, he talks about his alma mater. But you fired James Franklin, and it was even admitted yesterday that his performance in big games was a reason that he got fired. It just wasn't the three they lost in a row. It's hey, you haven't been able to win the big game. When you look at Matt Rhule, he's 2-23 versus ranked teams at Temple, Baylor, and Nebraska. Against top 10 teams, he's 0-11. So that's actually worse than what James Franklin was at Penn State. So
wow.
Yeah.
I didn't know, because I had down the stats of why Penn State should go out and get Matt Rhule, because the dude, his teams progress every year. Because I had down like Temple, he started off 2-10, ended with 10+ wins. Baylor was 1-11, ended at 11-3, and now Nebraska, they were 5-7 his first year, 5-1 right now.
5-1 right now, but again, we've seen Matt Rhule as a builder of a program. Not going to deny that. Happened at Temple, happened at Baylor. It's happening at Nebraska. Not going to deny that. But Baylor was a different situation, just because of the disarray that was in. But he got out of there before the expectation was to win a Big 12 or a national title. Temple, you were never going to have that expectation. Penn State now, it's not like Penn State is in peril as a program. It was in the college football semifinal a year ago. You come into Penn State, you're not building a program. You are taking a program that's already built, a national contender, not this year, but with the expectation is you don't have to rebuild anything here. You've got to take the what's there and get it to the next level. James Franklin couldn't do that, and Matt Rhule, for as good, listen, I can listen to Matt Rhule every single day. If you want a really good press, I'm not saying you have to like Nebraska, you don't, but he's very good with the microphone. He's got his own podcast. He produces a lot of that dude is more of a content creator than any one of us. He produces a ton of content, but the biggest stats, you bring up the building ones, but those programs, including Nebraska, were rock bottom. Rock freaking bottom. You are 2-23 against AP top 25 teams, and you're 0-11 against top 10 teams. That's not a resume to go, oh, okay, this is the guy.
No, because Franklin, I mean, that dude built up Penn State. Penn State was in the darkest era that it ever had been when he took over, and then he was able to build it into a national title contender. You never saw any sort of allegations or any knuckleheads on that team. Like, he always had a really strong team, but what was the biggest thing? The big games. Everybody brought up his records, and that's what got him fired at the end. And so that's really interesting. I did not know that about Matt Rhule in those big games.
Jared says this, and I want to bring this up, and if you have a phone call, 515-517-2303. If Penn State weren't preseason ranked number 2 to begin the season, he would still be the coach. I don't know if that's the I don't know if I agree with that. And I know those expectations are there. You were favored by 20 against, or over 20 against UCLA. You were a 20-point favorite against Northwestern. You become the first program since FBS and FCS split in 1978 to lose back-to-back games as a 20-point favorite. And even if Penn State was going to be in the top 10 no matter what in the preseason. Take out the number 2 just based off of what they had coming back and being a national semifinalist a year ago. I still think he's fired. A, because you couldn't win the big game, Oregon at home, and then you lose just 2 perceived dogs.
So I agree with you. Number 1, he got fired because of the big games. I'm actually going to put the 20-point loss or 20-point favorite and losing those games back-to-back lower, because I think that's just the icing on the cake of he lost the fan base. I mean, I think he lost the entire fan base of Penn State really after that Oregon loss. That was kind of the nail in the coffin for Penn State fans of it's the same thing every year. And we're Penn State. Those expectations were national title, especially this year. But like you said, they were going to be in the top 10 and in the conversation regardless. So I don't think number 2 is the exact reason. But I think the big games and just losing that fan base is what got him.
What I like about Matt Rhule's answer there, I love that he's still passionate about where he went to school, right? I mean, sometimes coaches lose that emotion. They're able to just kind of cut off everything because they're just singularly focused. I love the fact that he's passionate about his alma mater. Doesn't mean he wants to go back. But if he doesn't like the way fans treat coaches, and you're right, it can get a little brutal. But when people pay a lot of money, and they are paying a lot of money, they expect results. They do. And what's the old saying from The Godfather? It's not personal. It's business. It is absolutely. Now, I agree with him. You don't go after somebody's family. No. Coaches can take it, but it's not personal. It's business. And when it comes to the business of college football, at certain institutions, you are supposed to win football games.
And players are learning that too. I mean, BYU men's basketball has a $7 million kid on their team.
Think about that. And you have every right to criticize. If you're making $7 million, the day and age of, they're student athletes. No, they're professional athletes, folks.
Yep.
They are professional athletes, and they deserve to be criticized if the criticism is warranted.
And also, like, within boundaries. Like, of course, there is a clear line, like, for both coaches and players that you just don't cross. But yeah, no, I'm with you. I love when Matt Rhule talks. Honestly, when he took over at Nebraska and I saw his press conferences, I was sitting there going, damn, why do I like this guy? Because I don't like Nebraska.
He's the son of a preacher's son, and he knows how to engage. My prediction is Matt Rhule will stay at Nebraska. I don't think he takes the Penn State job.
I'm with you. I think so too. And I think because Nebraska, that that athletic department values that football program just as much as Penn State, if not more. And so they'd be able to compete with whoever wants to go after Matt Rhule. But lastly, I mean, I'm with you, Trav. I loved his passion. He's definitely a guy that walked at his college graduation.
Hey, don't forget that here in Iowa, we grow corn, but the truth is corn grows Iowa. Corn benefits the entire state. It feeds our livestock, nourishes our family, and provides homegrown, clean-burning, unleaded 88 for our vehicles. Pump it up with unleaded 88. Go to iowacorn.org to learn more. It is the Rush Radio Show powered by Willis Automotive.
The Rush Radio is now on the free TuneIn app, allowing you to enjoy the show on Apple products and Android Auto. Download the free TuneIn app and search The Rush Radio to take Travis and Ross wherever you go.
You've got enough on your plate, so when it's time to reset, grab a Fresca. Bold citrus, zero sugar, zero caffeine. Just clean, crisp refreshment that never goes out of style, whether it's post-work, post-gym, or just a break from the noise. Fresca's got your back. Pick up a Fresca at your local retailer today.
Your house wasn't built for bats, birds, or raccoons, but try telling them that. At Bats and Bugs Pest Solutions, we've been helping Iowans take back their homes for over 20 years. We use cost-effective, eco-friendly methods to solve wildlife and pest problems the right way. Whether it's bats in your attic, birds in the vent, raccoons in your chimney, or moles in your yard, we have long-term solutions. Call Bats and Bugs Pest Solutions today at 515-218-3400, and let's make sure your home doesn't become their home.
Trick or treat, candy to eat, get your car some brand new feet. Until the end of October, you can buy 3 tires and get 1 for $1. And we're also still doing our $25 off battery install. Scary good deals. All those treats, and you don't even need to show up with a joke. Give us a call or head online to willisinfinity.com.
After Hawkeye football games this fall, Travis and Ross are right where they belong, with you taking your calls and giving unfiltered feedback. Right after Hawkeye football games, it's the Black and Gold Rush on the rushradio.com, the TuneIn app, and on YouTube.
A fuel choice that even rivals can agree on? Now that's worth the hype. Pump it up with unleaded 88.
The largest selection of German beer in the world? You'll find it at the Hessen House. From Doppelbocks to Oktoberfest to Hefeweizens and Dunkels, there's no passport needed for the deliciously different beer and food at the Hessen House. So grab your friends and make it a fun night out. The Hessen House, 4th and Court, Des Moines.
You know, Brian, at Central City, we really do have the best selection around.
I know, high quality stuff you can't find anywhere else.
Whistle Pig Plantation Rum.
Yeah, and over 150 of the best scotches on earth.
And a ton of bitters, mixers, and more.
You know what we are? High class.
Definitely high class, yeah.
Make way for the natty.
Okay, maybe medium class.
Central City Liquors, home of the 10% cash coupon.
And the Wooden Nickel program.
Back like a rash you thought was gone. Travis and Ross aren't contagious, but they are addictive. It's the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive.
Hour number 2 of the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive. Happy Tuesday, everybody. If you're listening on the audio stream at therushradio.com and the Rush Radio Android app or the TuneIn app, thank you. If you're watching on YouTube, hit that subscribe button. Go ahead and give this video a like. Start leaving your comments in the comments section. And follow us on our social media channels. Ross Peterson is gone today. He's in mid-flight on his way back from Ireland. The one, the only, Justin Miller is filling in. And apparently, Justin, people are giving me a hard time in the chat. And did you zing me? Was I not paying attention?
Yeah, you missed one. I thought it was pretty good. We were talking about how Matt Rhule was so passionate about his college, and I said, yeah, that's definitely a man who walked at his college graduation.
Okay, you're right. I let that one go.
Okay.
I must have been getting ready for the Iowa corn read at that point. I
make
apologize.
the sponsors happy.
That's a good zinger. That is a good zinger. I'll give it to you. A lot of people commenting, about other coaching things, and I wholeheartedly disagree with this. That PJ Fleck on the hot seat. I don't see it. Even if they were to lose to Nebraska, even if they were to lose to Iowa, PJ Fleck has never lost a bowl game at Minnesota. They've been a consistent, not dominant team, but they've been a consistent winner. I don't think PJ Fleck, now next year maybe, but I don't think PJ Fleck is on the hot seat, even if he were to end with a losing record at Minnesota this year.
I don't either, because it's Minnesota in the sense of, if you fired Fleck, who are you going out and getting right now that is going to do better than what he's doing? Sure, if you're a Minnesota fan, you want to see improvement, but it's just kind of this day and age, Minnesota is in the middle of the pack, and just he wins. Like you said, won every bowl game he's been in.
I'm going to answer this question because Newsy wants to know. We've talked a lot about the old place. Hey, I was wondering, is Sean mad at you the way you left? The answer is no. Sean and I have we communicate. He texted me on my birthday, wished me a happy birthday. I think he's a little taken back. I think he would have liked a heads up. There's a reason I didn't do that, but no, Sean's not mad at me. We still communicate. I know you still talk to Sean.
Yeah. I congratulated him on his new kid, and I hope him and Kaylee are healthy and happy. They were always great to me.
Yeah.
No.
And I, for the most part, I get along with everybody. So I think I get along with everybody. I don't know if everybody gets along. I don't know if everybody feels the same way, but no, Sean's doing just fine. Sean's doing just fine in what he's doing. Coming up at 7:30, Joe Woodley, head coach of the Drake football team, going to be joining us. Drake off to a good start in the Pioneer League. They're home this weekend against Davidson. But it's more just about, getting that win at San Diego last week and the impressive way they've done it. They actually played South Dakota State and South Dakota pretty close. I mean, for Drake standards. And will this be the year they get to the FCS playoffs and get a win? I mean, as this team gets better as the season goes along, I guarantee there's a lot of teams going, boy, if Drake gets in, I don't know if I want to play. I don't know if I want to play him. You don't want to be that first team to play Drake because they're going to be competitive.
Well, what I've liked about watching this Drake team is, so game 1 against Upper Iowa, you saw the offense perform in the passing game. You were seeing what this offense could do. And then against South Dakota State, you kind of saw what the defense can kind of do. They played well against them. You saw what the defense could do really well against Valpo. And then they answered the call with the other concern of the run offense last week in San Diego. And that's against one of the best in their league against the run in San Diego's defense. And so you're seeing this team, like they're answering the call when they need to certain concerns. Now it's just Kim Woodley, Kyle Kempt, Adam Cox finally put it together all in one game.
So again, Joe Woodley at 7:30. So get ready for that. Baseball last night. What a game between the Brewers and the Dodgers. What an absolute game that kicked off the National League Championship Series. Los Angeles won 2-1. Milwaukee had bases loaded in the bottom of the ninth. Bryce Turing is being criticized because bases were loaded. There was an inside pitch that most likely could have or would have hit him, but he backed out of the way to avoid getting hit. A lot of people are criticizing Turing for this because you get hit, tying run comes in, and you've got extra innings. I agree with Pat Murphy here. Pat Murphy's the manager of the Brewers, who strategically brought his grandkids up to his post-game press conference. It's like, I'm going to bring the kids up because you'll be nicer to me if I bring the kids up. That's a smart move. Pat Murphy's a great dude. I got to know Pat Murphy when he was the head coach at Arizona State, and he brought teams to the College World Series. But I agree with it. Your natural reaction when a ball is coming your way is to get the hell out of the way. Nobody wants to get hit by a pitch. And so naturally, you just back out of the way, and then you go, oh, I should have probably got hit there.
And that's exactly what he did, too. Like, if you watch that game, he backs out, and he automatically puts his head up, and you can tell he's like, oh my God, if I would have just taken that, we tie it up. But yeah, I'm sitting there watching the game. I was yelling, why are you not taking one for the team? But if I'm in that situation, a 90-mile-per-hour changeup, fastball, whatever it is, yeah, I'm moving the hell out of the way from the ball.
Yeah, I mean, hindsight's always 20/20. And yeah. But I mean, the truth is, I mean, you were on the edge of your seat. The Brewers had it, and then Turing struck out. Was it the next pitch after that, or a couple of pitches after that to end the game? Frustrating if you're a Brewers fan. Did I see this right? That was the first loss to the Dodgers this year by the Brewers. The Brewers have kind of owned the Dodgers this year, and that was like the first loss to the Dodgers for the Brewers, and it comes in Milwaukee, which makes it a tough loss for the Brewers, but they've shown they can win in L.A. But if L.A. continues to get great pitching from Jake Snell, that dude was incredible last night. 8 innings pitched, gave up 1 hit. That's his second longest outing. He threw a no-hitter, was it last year? 8 innings is his second longest outing, and I think I'm somewhere close around here. In a postseason game for the Dodgers, it's like the longest a guy had faced the minimum batters through 8 innings since like Don Larson.
Wow.
I mean, you're going back in time there, but first of all, you don't see starting pitchers go 8 innings anymore. You just don't see it. And then they pulled him in, and they probably got to the 9th when bases were loaded going, why did we pull Jake Snell? Why did we do that? They still got out there with the win, but if you get pitching like that, you're going to be tough to beat.
But it's reason number 3048 why I hate the Dodgers. Oh, shocker. The best pitcher that was available in the market in the preseason is on the Dodgers and playing incredible in the postseason. Like, they just are able to get these guys, and they perform, and they're clutch. They're so fun to watch. and I just hate it. I hate every second of it.
Are you just totally anti-Dodger?
I've always been anti-Dodger, and then I'm also anti-Brewer because I'm a Cubs guy. But I'm watching that game last night. If I had to pick a team, I was hoping the Brewers would be able to knock off the Dodgers because it'd be cool to see the Blue Jays. My dad was always a fan of, so I kind of like the Blue Jays too. But Seattle has never won a World Series.
They've never been to a World Series. They've never been to a World Series, right?
No, it'd be cool to see just some new teams. I think it'd be good for baseball too. I think last year it was cool to see the Dodgers and Yankees, but
yeah, but networks will tell you different.
Well,
the networks are cringing at a Milwaukee-Seattle World Series. They are. I mean, they're like, that's not the World Series we want. They want LA in the World Series for viewership reasons.
Yeah, which makes sense. But as a fan, come on, you want those new teams up there. I saw a stat, Trav, in that game that I don't even know. I didn't even think it'd be that big of a deal when it happened. But I guess this was the first ever postseason double play that was an 8-6-2 double play.
8-6-2 double play.
What? Baseball's been around for 3,000 years. A center fielder had never thrown to a shortstop who threw it home?
Well, you got to be in the right situation. I believe bases were loaded, correct? Yeah. And then you had it was a weird play because it caused the force. That's where the 2 came in. He didn't need to make the tag. He just had to have his foot on the plate. So the center fielder for the Brewers, it went off in his glove, out of his glove, off the wall, back into his glove. So it was a fair ball at that point. That's not an out. Then you have it is an out. And then those guys were tagging. And I understand the Dodgers manager was saying, yeah, it was a boneheaded base running error. I think most people in that situation, when they see the ball in the glove, think it is a catch, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you're just like, okay, I'm going to tag. And so it was a weird play. It had to be the right circumstances. I can see where it's the first. I mean, how many times are you in that situation to where it ends like that?
It just shocked me because baseball's been around forever. That I'm like, wait, when you just see the 8-6-2, I'm sitting there reading it this morning being like, a center fielder had never thrown to a shortstop who threw home in 3,000 years? What are you talking about?
Yeah, it is. But it's one of those weird plays that you're like, huh.
It was cool to see live.
Yeah, it was. Were you just as confused live as you were?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I'm still also one of those people that when they do 8-6-2, I have to sit there and go, okay, pitcher 1, catcher 2. Like, I still have to do that.
No, that makes sense. Now, you mentioned your dad. You mentioned the old man, right? And so, and the influence he's had over you in the world of sports. Seattle, right behind you, being one of them. How does one become a Seahawks fan and a Toronto Blue Jays? I mean, you're talking opposite ends of the spectrum. I would have thought for sure you would have said, well, if I'm a Seahawks fan, I'm also going to be a Mariners fan. How are you not a Mariners fan?
I think my dad, when he was picking his teams, was like, okay, I need to make sure I can never take my kid to a professional game because they cost so much. So what are the furthest teams away from our area? So he picked Seattle and Toronto. No, Seattle was the brand new team when he was 5 years old. And so he wanted to be different and they had a cool logo. And then I think he just jumped on the bandwagon with Toronto during that stretch where they won back-to-back World Series with Carter hitting the walk-off. And I think he just started to like them during that time and just he likes the Cubs, but has always had Blue Jays on his mind as well. And so I think I saw Bautista, play the Royals when I was a kid. So they've always kind of been there as well, but I've always been a Cubs fan too.
For how dominant the Blue Jays were over the Yankees, they've lost the first 2 games at home now. Are you surprised? And Seattle came off that 15-inning marathon.
Yeah.
And then they beat Toronto in game 1. Then they turn around and they pounded Toronto yesterday 10-3. I think 3 home runs. Are you surprised by that? I am. I'm
absolutely.
Like, yeah.
I thought the Dodgers would look more like how Seattle has looked over Toronto, where it's like 10-4 type victories. And I thought the Toronto-Seattle series would be the one where you're sitting on the edge of your seat in the bottom of the ninth, and that has not been the case at all. And yeah, you brought up a really good point of you saw that 15-inning, 5-hour-long game, and you're sitting there going, man, Toronto's loving this because Seattle's going to be tired. And Seattle just looks like they haven't even taken their foot off the pedal at all. They are looking dominant, and now they just have to win 2 at home. Toronto's going to have to try to go on the road to keep this a series.
Ross and I talked about this. The good news about this, people will discover Cal Raleigh, who's had a phenomenal year, but because he plays for Seattle, because he plays on the Pacific Coast, hardcore sports fans are going to know Cal Raleigh. He homered in Game 1, but this will put his name to the forefront to a much wider and broader baseball audience just getting this far. And if they get to the World Series, you're really going to understand who Cal Raleigh is and what he did during the season.
So how many home runs did he finish with? Because wasn't it the most
50?
By a catcher?
Yeah. Yeah. He's got the most by a catcher, and he's got the most by a switch hitter. So he hits from the right, he hits from the left. He passed Mickey Mantle on that list. The dude just, it was 56, 57 maybe he ended up with, I think it was.
Yeah, I know he was close to that 60 mark because people were going nuts about it. Oh, by the way, I just got a text from my dad. He wants to make sure I say this, that the Blue Jays were the brand new team in 78. So as a kid, he liked them and he wasn't a bandwagon fan. Sorry.
So he jumped on the bandwagon in year 1. So he's like, Toronto in 78. I'm just going to adopt that team right now. And if you get on from the beginning, then you're there. You've got it right there.
And yep, they won 2 World Series in a row.
But he had to be a fan of somebody before the Blue Jays.
I know he would go to buddies' houses and watch Cubs games on WGN and all that. So like, again, he always liked the Cubs too. Our fandom is weird in this household. It's all over the place. Ohio State, Toronto, Seattle.
It's dysfunctional. Weird. It's dysfunctional.
Child of divorce.
That's
we
right.
Like dysfunction.
I was going to say that, but I go, I better be nice. He's filling in for a day. I won't bring up the divorce. But emotionally confused when it comes to fandom.
Yeah, well, that's a good way to put it.
Yeah, I mean, it's easy to be an Ohio State fan, and they never let you down. I mean, I know John Cooper, but for the most part, they never let you down. If they lose to Michigan, is when you get let down.
And then they go and win the national title. Can't complain there.
And they are looking really good this year as well.
Yeah.
If you are a sports fan, you probably didn't know where to go last night. You had the NLCS, you had the ALCS, and I still can't get used to the 2 Monday Night Football games. I just wish it was 1 Monday Night Football game. It would make it, and I know the NFL rules the roost. In the sports landscape, it's all about the National Football League. So they're like, okay, well, if we can have 1, why not have 2 games? So you had 2 games last night. Atlanta beat Buffalo. Buffalo's lost 2 in a row now. Atlanta won 24-14. Michael Penix was 20 of 32, 252 yards. Atlanta 3-2 on the season. The Bills 4-2 on the season. After the game, Atlanta's 3 wins, Justin, are against teams that were playoff teams a year ago. Michael Penix says this team is legit. I'm not ready to say that the Falcons are legit yet. 3-2 is good. It's not great, but I'm not going to say the Falcons are legit.
Man, to be honest, I don't know who is legit in the NFL.
That's fair.
This is the first year.
The Steelers are 4-1 with Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah. And but you have the Chiefs who were in the Super Bowl a year ago. They're starting to get back into a rhythm, but they haven't looked the same. The Eagles, that defense is awful from a year ago, and they are the reigning Super Bowl champs. Buffalo has lost now 2 in a row. They don't look right. You have Indianapolis Colts also at 4-1 with Daniel Jones as their quarterback, looking like an MVP right now. I don't know what is going on in the NFL. I love it. I think it's great for the sport. to kind of have a dysfunction and to not really know who's good right now.
Well, that's why people love the National Football League. I mean, that's why it is number one. It's because people, you don't know what's going to happen. It's hard to build those dynasties, of course. I mean, look at the Patriots. The Patriots are now leading their division for the first time since Bill Belichick was the head coach. And, you know, we can say what we want about Bill Belichick. He's a bad college coach, and bad is being complimentary towards Bill Belichick when it comes to his college coaching ability. But again, Atlanta won yesterday. The other game, Bears win. Bears fans now start thinking, is this a playoff team? Caleb Williams was 17 of 29, 252 yards. He had a touchdown. DeAndre Williams had 108 yards rushing. He had a receiving touchdown. The Bears get a Jake Moody field goal at the end of the game to beat the Commanders, which Commanders aren't bad. A 25-24 win.
No, Commanders, a playoff team from a year ago. I know they have the oldest roster in the NFL, but I still really trust that defense and all that veteranship they have on that field. But, man, they look all out of sorts as well. It's been a while since we've seen Washington look balanced. I mean, we've had games where the offense looks really good, but then the defense stumbles and vice versa. But, yeah, Chicago, congrats on making the field goal and not doing a double doink, I guess. Congrats there. Getting clutch from their field goal kicker. But, no, I love it how I watch these games and I don't know who's good. I will say, though, I'm with you. I hate the 2 Monday night games. I hate it.
What'd you find yourself watching more last night, baseball or football? And I think this would be an indication. Were you watching baseball more because it's postseason, or are you still just dialed in on football?
Baseball, postseason baseball. And it's because none of the teams playing last night really interest me too in the NFL. Like, I'll watch those games, but I'm not a diehard Bears fan by any means. I don't care about really one or the other across the board last night. But postseason baseball, it doesn't matter who's playing. I mean, these are the games where every pitch counts. So I had that on more.
Yeah, and just that Dodgers-Brewers game literally had you on the edge of your seat. I mean, that is, you're like, okay, I'm going to sit up now. I'm going to watch.
I hate both teams. I just said that. And yet all last time I'm like sitting there sweating over this game where I hate both teams.
Mike says he loves 2 Monday Night Football games. That means you're an NFL guy. If you're an NFL guy and that's all you care about, I get why you love it. It's just it's overload for me.
I agree, and I love the NFL. I pay for a Sunday ticket, and no, it's too many games. On one, like, I can't do the 2 Monday night games. I hate the late start. Seahawks play next Monday, and it's a 9:00 kick. Like, come on. I don't even have to work on Tuesday, and I'm complaining over that.
But you know what you'll do? You'll watch that 9:00 kick because it's the Seahawks.
And I'll have my jersey on, and I'll go nuts about it. But 9:00, come on.
Are the Seahawks, what, second in their division right now?
Yep. 4-2 right now.
With San Francisco, right?
Yes. They lost to San Francisco at the start of the year, so they're second right now.
Are they the ones that knocked Brock Purdy out of commission?
Yep, and George Kittle, that Seahawks defense, but they're paying the price now because that defense is all banged up for Seattle as well. Witherspoon's gone, Reek Wallen's gone, Julian Love's gone, so they're all banged up too.
Oh, man. Yeah, Sean says, Thursday and Monday Night Football is overload. Listen, if the National Football League could be on every night of the week, they would. They would.
And I would watch.
and there's a reason the draft is a 3-4 day event. I mean, people just cannot consume enough National Football League content. It's the driver for ESPN. It's a driver for Fox. It's a driver for NBC. And that's, again, if they could have football 7 days a week and figure out a way to do it to where teams could get a reasonable rest, they would do it. And you would consume it as a consumer. There's a reason college football has Maction started on Tuesday and Wednesday night yet? Have we got any Maction games going yet?
If that hasn't started, it's starting soon. I know that. But yeah, I would totally still watch NFL. It'd be Monday through Sunday. Yes, every day I'm watching it. I mean, last night 2 games is too many for me. I still flipped over and watched it.
What time did you go to bed? What time did you go to bed last night?
Man, probably right after that Brewers game, if not a couple of, or maybe 15 to 30 minutes after that game. But it was pretty late.
Tyler lets us know that it's not MACtion now. It was Conference USA last night. Missouri State played last night. I still can't get used to Missouri State in Conference USA. Missouri State is a Missouri Valley Conference team to me, going back to the Southwest Missouri State days, to the Missouri State days. And I get that they want to be, they're chasing football money. I get it. It'll be interesting to see how that program transitions into high level, not highest level, just higher level football than FCS. But it's clearly the money's going to go to football because that's where the money can be made. But Missouri State's always been a basketball school to me. Always been a basketball school.
Same. I don't think I ever see them. I don't think I've ever watched a Missouri State football game, to be honest.
No, and for good reason, right?
Probably.
Hey, did you mentioned Drake Media Day yesterday? We talked about that in hour number one. They went down to Wichita to play an exhibition game. How'd they do against the Shockers?
They won.
They're not even secret anymore. I think Creighton and Iowa State or they're playing or they have played already.
Well, then like Iowa already played. They lost to St. Louis, I believe. So, but Drake won in their scrimmage against Wichita State. The coach talked about it quite a bit in the media day, and Henderson talked about some of the players that stood out was Jalen Quinn, who's the transfer guard from Loyola, who a lot of people are excited for because he's one of the few seniors on this team, but also just he has that mid-conference experience. He's a bigger guard, and then just that veteranship. But he did bring up concerns early on of rebounding. So if you're talking about the size the team has but struggles to rebound is a concern. At the same time, though, it's early October. Like, you're just still learning how to put this roster together.
A lot of people jumping on me about my Missouri State take. That said, they finished last in basketball. Here's the deal. You're right. They weren't good the last couple of years. There was a time when Missouri State was really good in basketball. There was a time.
They were in the semifinals my first year I went down to St. Louis for Arch Madness. I think Drake played them. It was either quarterfinals or semifinals. They played Missouri State.
Yeah.
That team was legit.
I still have a reverence for some of the history in the league and remember that. And I remember when Missouri State was legit. 515-517-2303 is the number to call. Remember, when you have a need to drink, and who doesn't have a need to drink? Hell, everybody was like, Trav name dropped, take a drink. Well, when you run out of alcohol, you need to head to Central City Liquors because Central City Liquors has everything you want, more than 165 single malt scotches, 130 tequilas, 50-plus bourbons on hand. They also stock mixers, wine, spirits, beer, seltzers, everything you need. Central City Liquors is the place to go at 1460 2nd Avenue in Des Moines. Joe Woodley, head coach of the Drake Bulldogs, joins us next on the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive.
I'm loving these wooden nickels, Brian.
Yeah, I suppose everyone is catching on.
Just spend $20 to get a wooden nickel.
It's 25.
Collect 10 and add up the savings on your next purchase.
Some of these are worth $5. That could be huge.
I know, right? That's why you have to spend $20.
It's 25.
Collect 10. It's like money back to you.
Spend 20, you get another wooden nickel.
It's 25.
Collect 10 and add up the savings. It's huge.
Central City Liquors, home of the 10% cash coupon.
And the wooden nickel program.
It's huge.
This is Darcy at Willis Chevrolet. When's the last time that you got new tires? From now till the end of November, we are offering buy 3 tires, get 1 for $1. Our extreme savings. Also, if you sign up for a GM credit card, you can get another $250 off the price of the 4 tires. So it's a win-win. Give us a call today, and we can price you a set of 4, or visit us online to set up an appointment at willischevy.com.
After Hawkeye football games this fall, Travis and Ross are right where they belong, with you taking your calls and giving unfiltered feedback. Right after Hawkeye football games, it's the Black and Gold Rush on the rushradio.com, the TuneIn app, and on YouTube.
Missing a quality home-cooked meal? You know, the kind Mom used to make? Lucky for you, we found her recipe book. Welcome to the High Life. Welcome to the Champagne of Bars.
Every business has priorities, and Priority One Heating and Cooling is no different. As a service provider, we prioritize quality air conditioners and furnaces that will keep your home at your comfort level year-round. As a small business, we prioritize doing things the right way and treating people fairly. As a truly local business, we prioritize our community. As a veteran-owned business, we prioritize duty and commitment. For big business service with local value, trust your home to the place where you are always Priority One.
Hi, I'm Bradley Ollinger here at Willis Nissan. Now until October, we are offering buy 3 tires, get the 4th for $1. Take advantage of this deal right now before winter. Go online today at willisnissan.com to schedule your tire placement today, and we'll see you on the service drive.
Rush, strong opinions, weak filters, and just enough sense to stay on the air. It's the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive.
Welcome back to the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive. Happy Tuesday, everybody. The Drake Bulldog football team went on the road, went out to San Diego, had to battle back and get a field goal late to win it. Still unbeaten in the Pioneer League. They have Davidson coming up this weekend at Drake Stadium. Joining us now on the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive. He's driving, but he's got the phone, I think, on the air vent. And is being careful as he drives. Is head coach Joe Woodley. Good morning, Coach.
Morning, Travis. No, I'm parked. I don't have one of them fancy air vents, so I'm just holding this with my hand right now.
Oh, come on now. The university should be supplying you with a luxury car, and you've got a fancy car with if you don't have an air vent, you've got a different airflow. I like that.
I've got about 11-year-old F-150. That's who I am. So.
Oh, you need a new car. We can get you a new car. Just go to
works.
So what I hear you saying is you're a cheap ass, right? You're like, oh, it's paid off, and that's all I need.
When it comes to things like this, yes, I am. At the we're out to dinner or something. No, I don't think I am. But things like this, no doubt about it. This thing gets me from point A to point B, and I still think it looks good. Trucks don't age, in my opinion. They're a little character to them.
And Justin, I'll let you in here. My daughter, she's 24. She lives in New Orleans. She actually wants a 1978 Ford F-150. You know, the ones with the stripes. She's like, Dad, that's the coolest car. I go, yeah, but if you go to the Mecum Auto Auction, those things have appreciated now. I mean, to get an old-time pickup, that's going to cost you a lot of money.
Yeah, that was I don't know why it was like a 1986 F-150 is what I always wanted. I remember growing up like that was kind of the era of the F-150s, and I said whenever I finally do okay in life, I'm getting an F-150, and I think I've had 2 or 3 of them. So they've been good to me.
See, nice. I didn't know if that was going to be like the retirement gift. If you're like, as soon as I retire, I'm going out and getting that. What was it, a 1986 F-150? Is that what you said?
Well, like Travis just said, I think those things have appreciated like crazy, unless you want like a rust bucket or something like that. But if you want something that looks pretty good,
it builds character.
Justin, gosh dang, I ain't that old yet. I ain't talking about retirement.
No. Well, we're going to ask you, are you a candidate for the Penn State job? That's what everybody wants to know. Is Joe Woodley a candidate for the Penn State job?
You know, it was Iowa and Iowa State growing up in the state of Iowa when I was a kid. And you can ask my brothers, my dad. Penn State was my favorite team. It was linebacker U. I was a linebacker, and you know, for years and years, I could have told you every linebacker that played there from. I think it was 86. I don't know why the year 1986 keeps coming out, but I think that was the. I want to say they won the national title that year. The running back was DJ Dozier. He was one of my favorite players, and I want to say I don't know if Shane Conlon was on that team as a linebacker or not, but yeah, it was Penn State. It was the plain uniforms. It was Joe Pa. I had the same name as the head coach. I loved Penn State football. But to answer your question, Travis, I highly doubt they're calling me.
Was 86 the out of bounds play against Nebraska where they were out of bounds and it was ruled inbounds? I'm trying to think of that. You may remember that. Nebraska fans are still mad about that.
86 was the year. Excuse me, I'm a little under the weather. 86, I believe, was the year they intercepted Vinny Testaverde like 5 times in the Orange Bowl to beat him. The Nebraska piece, Travis, you know that way better than me. You're better at Nebraska football history than me. I don't remember if Penn State had them that year or not.
The years start rolling into one another. Go ahead, Justin.
I'm just happy, Coach, you ended your talk about Penn State with that you're highly, like, you don't believe that they're going to call you, because that started a lot like what Matt Rhule said, didn't it, Trav? Where he's oh, Penn State, favorite team. I loved all of this. And I'm sitting here being like, oh my God, we're going to lose Joe Woodley, lose 2 basketball coaches, and now we're going to lose Joe.
I don't think we need to worry about that one, Justin.
What a victory you had at San Diego. I was following along online, and I'm like, oh, you go out on the road. It's a West Coast trip, and I'm like, are they going to pull this thing out? And then you get that late field goal. Your kicker's the special teams player of the week. Just talk about the ending of that game and how your team did not fold under pressure on the road.
Yeah, Travis, and it was, I learned a lot about our football team this weekend, and I felt like I had a decent idea of who we were, but, to go on the road against a team like San Diego, really a program that has all but, for the most part, dominated this Pioneer Football League over the course of time, and, they were kind of the standard, and, and in some regards still might be to some effect, but I just really got a good feel for PFL play this weekend and how physical it is, how tough it is, the travel. You're hopping on airplanes. That was our first time as a team doing it this year. Of course, the guys on our team have done it in the past, but first time my staff's done it with them. And I thought, all those kinds of things went really well. And, and the clear message was we're going out there to play a football game. It's not a sightseeing tour. Yeah, it's paradise. It's beautiful. And I mean, I haven't been to an abundance of campuses across the country, and my goodness, it's going to be hard to beat San Diego from what I saw out there. But yeah, Travis, it was real rewarding just to see all the hard work that our guys have put in, and really all the change that they've been through, for this to come to fruition, for us to all get together, be on the same page, go out and win a tough conference game, shows a lot about who they are. And yeah, it was, I don't know that it necessarily needed to come down to that final play because about 2 minutes earlier, we missed an extra point, to make it 17-13 and really make them have to go down and score a touchdown. And in the back of my mind, it really wasn't, go down and make a 55-yard field goal to win the game. It was, go down there and maybe make a 43-yard field goal to win the game. But, again, it just showed the resolve and, kind of next play mentality, especially from our kicker, and what a story that was. He's a kid NAIA kid that I competed against at Benedictine, and all the NAIA kids got a 5th year this year, and I thought we needed a kicker, a transfer kicker to have some competition in our program, because we came out of spring and I just wasn't real sure where we were at there, and we had a kid that was nursing an injury, so took Harry Balke somewhat later on in the process, and he's come on and been outstanding for us this year, and San Diego is his hometown. So for him to go back there and do that in front of friends and family, certainly real proud of him, but also I know it came down to that one play, but there were so many plays in that game that a lot of our guys made to give us an opportunity to put us in that situation. And I'm just real proud of them. And yeah, and we're at the end of the day, we're 2-0 in the league, and that's where we wanted to be. And heading back home, thank goodness, because yeah, that travel and that's just new to me. I think I picked up some kind of, I don't know if it's jet lag or what, but I've been under the weather since Saturday night.
With Nick Herman, he's the true freshman running back for this team, and he back-to-back games led the team in rushing yards. And I feel like he could be the poster child for just the theme of this team through 5 games, and that is just when your name is called, taking advantage of those opportunities.
Yeah, Nick's certainly one of those kids and gave us a spark Saturday, but not to take anything away from that kid, because holy cow, did he make a lot of plays. But I think, Justin, I mentioned to you last night on our visit, Luke Woodson's a kid that made a lot of really tough football plays in that game. Again, another running back, and some plays that kind of helped us sustain some drives to set us up for points, and just really played like a senior. But certainly the future is real bright with Nick at running back. He brings he brings a dynamic element to our offense. Just with the true speed that he has, he's a legitimate track speed fast kid, and it doesn't, some guys are really fast on the track, but not necessarily out on the football field. He might even be faster out on the football field. So he certainly gave us some sparks that we needed in that game, and we will certainly build off the things that he's doing, because he'll just continue to get more and more opportunities here as the year goes on.
You said something earlier. Your kicker is a former NAIA guy. I'm going to go off on bear with me here. I'm going to get to a question. We see these a lot of Power 4 schools will go after FCS guys in the transfer portal and stuff. With your knowledge of the NAIA and the quality of players out there, do you see somebody in your position going, hey, the NAIA, it's untapped talent in there? Not saying you're going to tamper, but if somebody's looking, do you look more at the NAIA when it comes to transfer portal?
Again, it's not like we have we're not tracking NAIA players across the country or anything, to that, and really not really anybody we're doing that with, because I just think Drake is a unique fit for kids. I think when that, once that portal stuff kind of gets going, we'll make some observations in what we want to do. And, I'm not a guy that really wants to live in that world now. I felt like we needed to do a little bit of that when I got here a year ago, just because Drake had 24, 25 fifth-year seniors really the last 2 seasons, and we have 2 this year. So I just felt we needed to backfill that a little bit. But as we move on, but I say we only have 2 fifth-year guys. I want to say we're at close to 23, 24 fourth-year guys. So we still have some veteran leaders in this in this program. But I felt that was pretty important at that time. But moving forward, I anticipated more on a need base, and I know that's maybe the easy thing to say as a coach. At the end of the day, you're never going to turn away a talented kid. But I just think Drake, really the Pioneer Football League is just such a unique draw to kids. Number one, it's these are all high academic institutions, and it's non-scholarship football, so there's a sacrifice that they're going to have to make there, and you don't want to have to apologize for that with anybody. Like I said, it's a fit. And, I like the kind of kids that we get to go after and attract, because I believe, in this day and age of college athletics, I know for a fact the kids in this program are here for the 100% right reasons, the same reasons. Now, I was a scholarship player at Iowa State, but I went there because I wanted to go to Iowa State. It was, that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to play for those coaches. And again, I was never good enough to get a bag of money anyways, but I think, all the really good players we had at that time went there for those reasons too. And I think that's getting lost a little bit nowadays. I don't think it's always the case, because you look at a kid like, Rocco up at Iowa State. I got to believe he had every opportunity to go to other places, but he stayed because it's important to him. And I'm sure there's several examples of that across the country, probably at the University of Iowa too. And but like I said, the portal is, so it can be tricky, and I just think you got to stay true to who you are and not get too wrapped up in that. I think some teams are feeling some effects of that, right? You mentioned Penn State.
Yeah.
I think I heard that they had a big I don't want to say overhaul, but I thought I heard something to the effect of they were the highest paid team, and and that I got to believe, again, I haven't lived in that world, but I got to believe that brings some problems of its own. And you just want guys that are here for the right reasons. And I'm thankful that I get to wake up every morning, go to work, and be at a place where everybody in the building is that way. And we're all working towards one thing. And again, I just feel like we're all here, players, coaches alike. We're in this for the reasons we all got into coaching and playing. And it's pretty rewarding.
I know you have Davidson coming up this weekend, so you're probably not thinking about recruiting as much right now, but you brought up transfer portal and recruitment. Made me think you were in a unique position where this is kind of the same area you've been recruiting your whole coaching career with working at Grandview. Are you seeing that becoming a factor as to why Drake hasn't seemed to miss a step, because you've been able to go after kind of the same people you've been looking for your whole coaching career?
Yeah, well, the first part of that, Justin, I'm always thinking about recruiting. You have to be, and I don't spend an abundant amount of time on it every day, but I touch on it every day. And I think I heard Coach McCarney say it once upon a time: recruiting's like shaving. If you don't do it every day, you're going to look like a bum at some point. So, but yeah, I've just, and again, it doesn't make me right or anything like. It's just what I'm. And I hate saying the word comfortable, but I think if you look around, the success like that, I just look close to me. I look at two really good football coaches that we have in this state at, with Coach Campbell and Coach Ferentz. I mean, they've kind of stayed true to that, kind of 5-hour radius. And I just think you, at least for me, I grew up in this region. I feel like I can relate to a lot of these guys. I've been recruiting this region for a really long time, and you form relationships, you have trust with coaches, and you just get a certain feel for the kind of kids that you're bringing in. And I think it's important when, like I said, if you're recruiting from 4 or 5 hours away, those kids can go home and see their families when they want to. Those families come to the game, and in turn makes your crowd's a little bit better. And and I just firmly believed in that. If you have enough conviction in what you're doing as a coach and what you're doing within your program, you can truly develop these guys, because they're going to stay. They're going to fight through things. They're not going to leave at the first shot of adversity, and they're just going to stay with you. They want to be coached. And again, I'm not saying that it's not like that around the country, but that's just been my experience with with guys in this region. And again, that was kind of how we built it. It was pretty more Iowa focused when I was at Grandview. But here, we're touching more of the major cities that are within 5 hours. And because Drake does have a name, you can cast maybe a little bit wider net at Drake than you can maybe at an NAIA type school, just because of the familiarity, the brand recognition. And I think we're trying to do that. Again, we're not perfect, and you're always going to miss on some things, and kids are going to choose other schools. But I still think we're barking up the right trees, and that's really as I've seen it in the past when Drake's had success, that's what their rosters have looked like.
So Justin mentioned Davidson. You're talking about a team that has given up a lot of points this year, a lot of points. Do you keep track of how much they've lost by, and how do you not get your guys to go, okay, don't look at those scores, just focus on coming in, because they're not very good. I mean, just as an observer's observation, they're not very good.
Yeah, and I could see how that would look, from the outside, Travis. But I think I mentioned to Justin last night, like, if you're in the PFL and you're only 5 or 6 games into the year, you can't really look at statistics. You can't really look at wins and losses. Three of Davidson's losses are to scholarship programs, and 3 really good ones. And and then they lost to St. Thomas, who's one of the better teams in our conference. But yeah, has there been some struggles on their end? Absolutely. I'm not going to sit here and sugarcoat that. But at the end of the day, we're certainly not in a position to, just say, hey, just because we're 2-0 or whatever, that we're just going to be able to roll our helmet out there and expect them to, go running the other way. That's just not how football works. And the clear message to the team was, you better respect the opponent and you better respect the game of football, because the second you don't, it's going to bite you. And that's just always been my approach. And again, I do think, they're going through some growing pains a little bit. They got a brand new coaching staff. They transitioned from a option style offense to a spread style of offense, and that part of it seems to be going well for them. What I see on the defensive side of the ball for them is they've got a lot of youth, but again, when you get to the 6th game of the season like we're in right now, there's bumps and bruises, and I'm sure they have injuries. We certainly have injuries. We're not sure on some guys this weekend, so all those things come into play. So you better be ready to roll. And believe me, Davidson has our full attention, and that's how I'll always operate. And believe me, our guys are under that same impression as well, because we gotta. The goal is to go out and play your best football. It's not necessarily to play to your opponent. I talk about it a lot. We're always competing against ourselves. How much better can we get than we played a week ago? Because I think we've made strides in a lot of areas where we fell short early in the year. We're continuing to get better in a lot of those areas.
All right, Coach. We appreciate the time. We didn't talk to you after the South Dakota State and South Dakota games, but you played. Did their coaches say anything afterwards, like we're not going to play anymore? That was too close for their comfort.
Maybe something to that effect, but no, again, the goal was to go over there and compete and try and win a football game. We didn't get that done, and that was the message to our team, because we were 1-2 after that point. I just said, hey, we're a 1-2 football team, no matter way you look at it. But certainly proud of them. The effort was there, and it's. I think it's as close as they've ever played those games. But we're not in this to be just try and go keep it close. But of course, the South Dakota coach is a real good friend of mine, and South Dakota State just got to know him a little bit, and he was very complimentary, and I appreciate that. But that doesn't mean I didn't want to, win those football games. But if they didn't want to play, it wouldn't break my heart. I'll put it that way. But
those are money games.
Yeah, I tell you what, those were really neat atmospheres and environments to be in, and just real thankful we got to have those opportunities, because again, we got some real growth out of those two, and really got our attention in some areas where we needed it.
Excellent stuff. Joe Woodley joining us, Coach. We'll have you on again soon. Good luck this weekend, and we'll catch up.
All right, look forward to it, Trav. Thanks, Justin.
Yep, thanks, Coach.
Coach Joe Woodley joining us on the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive. Good stuff from Joe. He's an awesome dude.
Man, Brian Harden has struck gold with his coaching hires, and not just in terms of their records, but Pullman's great to talk to. Henderson has been amazing to talk to. And then Woodley, I mean, we've gotten to know him, or at least I have, for the past 2.5 years, gotten to know him a little better, and he's been great. So it's just awesome as a lifelong Bulldog fan to have coaches like that in Des Moines.
So you interviewed Joe Woodley last night. Of course, I'm going to give you a minute or two to pump your own podcast, which is the Media Row podcast with Justin Miller. How often does that come out? I should know this, but I don't. And is it still Valley based? Is it all Drake based? What do we got here?
Yeah, so it's 3 times a week: Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Now that will change, during March Madness, Arch Madness. We go down there. And so we'll do special event shows there. But for the most part, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, it's Drake centered, but not limited to. I want to give Drake a platform. I'm a lifelong Bulldog. This is my team I've grown up cheering for. And I think there's a lot of good coming from Drake right now. It's a golden era. But there's also a lot to talk about nationally, locally with Iowa State. So it is Drake centered, but not limited to, is the best way I put it. But out wherever you get your podcasts. Follow us on Twitter at Media Row Pod. We do a lot of interviews with coaches and players and clips from the show. Have a lot of fun. It's an awesome experience. I'm so lucky to be able to do it.
See, and you're not probably monetizing it to the thing yet, but just keep at it. Keep at it, man.
Trying to do my best,
work.
Travis Justice. Trying to get that fireplace in the studio. That's the goal.
I mean, this was a basement room at one point that had a fireplace. It's just I wasn't going to get rid of, because my son wanted to cover up the fireplace. I said, don't cover up the fireplace, because if we ever go to resell the house, that's an added benefit. I don't want to cover up the fireplace. You mentioned interviewing coaches tomorrow on the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive. Bill Fenley, head coach of the Iowa State Cyclone women's basketball team, is going to be joining us. Cyclone women ranked pretty high in the preseason poll. Did you see Audie Crooks in the Dave Portnoy thing at Great Plains?
No, I actually didn't. No,
this was funny. You got to go back and watch the Great Plains pizza review, because Audie just walks right in, and Dave's like, "Hey, is that Audie Crooks?" He goes, "She DM'd me and wanted me to wear what," and so he goes back in after. He goes, "You just gonna blow me off? You're not gonna talk to me?" And he was like all offended that Audie Crooks didn't come and say, "Hey, Dave, I've been DMing you," and it's like. It was actually pretty cool. We'll ask Bill Fenley about that tomorrow, but Bill Fenley is going to join us.
Check it out.
What I don't understand, and I've heard this a lot, and this is going off on a tangent. We only got a couple minutes left, but I always hear some of these players going, "Hey, I'm getting a lot of hate in the DMs." Happened over at Nebraska. Why do you keep your DMs open? That's what I don't get. You don't have to keep your DMs open.
Yeah, I get, because I automatically think coaches or other staff members maybe trying to get a hold of you.
Yeah, but you can have it open to people who you follow. You can dictate. I always hear that, well, they slipped into my DMs. How? How did they slip into your DMs?
That's actually a really good question.
On Twitter, I don't answer a lot of people, because if we don't follow each other, it goes into a secret bank that I don't check all the time. Hey, you've got unread messages from people who you don't follow or you haven't given access to, and then I can go in and go, okay, I'll take that. I won't take that. But I always crack up they slipped into your DMs because you let people slip into your DMs. Just saying.
That's actually a really good point. That's a good point.
All right, Justin, did you have fun today?
Absolutely. It's been way too long. Hopefully we can do this more here soon.
Yeah, it's Ross will be back tomorrow. Maybe we can get Justin involved with the show a little bit more. We'll see if we can work with that. Got to come up with money, though. That's the big. Money's always the driving factor, isn't it?
Yeah, it's weird.
It's funny how that works out. All right, for Justin Miller, I'm Travis Justice. We will talk to you tomorrow, 6 a.m. on the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive.
Body Armor, real hydration with electrolytes, no artificial dyes, and coconut water. Choose better. Body Armor.
With over 260 beers on tap, El Bait Shop isn't just another craft beer bar. It's the best. Beer lovers know. El Bait Shop, 200 Southwest 2nd, Des Moines.
There's a new spin on casual dining near Drake University. Lucky Horse Beer and Burgers. Craveable faves, flatbreads, delicious burgers, frozen cocktails, and a crazy cool vibe. Get to Lucky Horse Beer and Burgers today.
Are you thinking about buying a home this year? Start by getting pre-approved with Gary Presnall at Northwest Bank in Des Moines to see how much you can qualify for and what loan programs meet your needs. Gary can get you pre-approved in 30 minutes or less with a pre-approval letter to you. Gary offers first-time home buyers programs, VA loans along with FHA, IFA, and conventional loans. Call Gary at 515-975-6767 or find his profile at nw.bank. Member FDIC Equal Housing Lender.
After Hawkeye football games this fall, Travis and Ross are right where they belong, with you taking your calls and giving unfiltered feedback. Right after Hawkeye football games, it's the Black and Gold Rush on the RushRadio.com, the TuneIn app, and on YouTube.
It's October at Willis Nissan, and the savings this month are scary good. Lease the stylish Nissan Sentra or the versatile Nissan Kicks for payments so low, we call them fun size. And that's not the only trick up our sleeves this month. Right now, you can get 0% APR on Murano and Pathfinder, or take advantage of customer cash. All those treats, and we won't even make you tell us a joke. Visit us online at willisnissan.com or stop into our showroom today.
Bread is made from scratch, freshly baked with locally sourced ingredients and love. At Big Sky Bakery, we take great pride in our delicious products. We know you'll enjoy them almost as much as we enjoy baking.
Looking for the perfect golf escape?
Experience links-style golf right here in Ames at Coldwater Golf Links. With rolling fairways, large greens, and unique routing, it's golf the way it's meant to be played. Whether you're a seasoned pro or just starting out, you'll love our course's welcoming atmosphere and friendly staff. Grab your clubs, book a tee time, and make every round unforgettable. Coldwater Golf Links, where great golf leads to great memories. Visit coldwatergolf.com to book your round today.
Back to the Rush. Strong opinions, weak filters, and just enough sense to stay on the air. It's the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive.